Hey there, my name's Carly, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made this hooded scarf using star granny squares. So for this project I used 2 different colors of worsted weight yarn and a 5mm hook. So to get started, we're going to make a magic circle. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, there's a lot of good tutorials on YouTube of how to make a magic circle. So once we have that, we're going to chain up 2, and that does not count as a stitch. And then we're going to place 10 double crochet in our magic circle. So just working right into the center of that circle. And once we have the 10 double crochet, we're just going to slip stitch into that first double crochet that we made, not into the chain 2. So for round 2, we're going to chain up 5, and now we're going to start making the points of our star. So we're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then in the next chain we're going to do a half double crochet. In the next chain we're going to work a double crochet, and then in that last chain we're going to work a triple crochet. So yarn over twice. So once we have that, we're going to skip the stitch that we worked out of. We're going to skip the next stitch, then we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch and tighten that up a little. That creates the first point of our star. Now chain 5 again. This is what we'll work all the way around. Single crochet into the second chain from the hook, half double crochet into the next chain, double crochet into the next chain, and triple crochet into that last chain. And again, we'll just skip that stitch that we worked out of, skip the next stitch, and slip stitch into the next stitch. So we'll work this 5 times around our circle. Chain 5, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and triple crochet. When we get to the end, we'll slip stitch back into that first stitch that we worked out of initially, and you'll just want to tighten that up a little bit, and you're ready to tie off. There's our star portion. So now I've put my second color of yarn on my hook with a slip stitch, and we're going to attach this into any of the single crochet stitches at the point of our star. So you can just pick whichever one, and we'll just attach that with a slip stitch. And we're going to chain up 1, and we'll work a single crochet into that same stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to work a double crochet. In the next stitch, we'll work a triple crochet. So again, yarn over twice. And then in the last stitch, we're gonna work a double triple crochet. So we're gonna yarn over 3 times. And same type of thing as the double and triple crochet, just yarn over 3 times, and so you pull through an extra time. Once we have that, we're gonna work this same pattern backwards, going the other way. So in the next stitch, we'll work another double triple crochet. So again, yarn over 3 times for that one. In the next stitch, we'll work a triple crochet. In the next stitch, we'll work a double crochet. And in the last stitch, you might have to pull it out a little bit to find it. We'll work a single crochet because we're working into the bottom of those stitches, so kind of into the chains. So this is what we're going to do all the way around. So we're going to work that same pattern again now, just back the other way. So starting with a single crochet at the point, working a double crochet in the next stitch, triple crochet in the next, and double triple crochet in the last. So there's 4 stitches for each point of the star. So we'll just work that same pattern all the way around, and that's going to build up our star to be a circle so that we can build it up into a square basically. So once you get to the end of that round, we're just slip stitching into that first single crochet, and to start our final round we're going to chain up 2. That doesn't count as a stitch. and we'll work a double crochet into that same stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch. In the next stitch we'll work a half double crochet, and then in the next stitch we'll work another half double crochet, and the next stitch we'll work a single crochet. So we're building up our side here. Next stitch, half double crochet, next stitch another half double crochet, in the next stitch a double crochet, and a double crochet in the next stitch. So this builds up our side. This is the pattern we're doing for our side: 2 double crochet, 2 half double crochet, single crochet, and working it back. So in the next stitch we'll work our corner. So that's going to be 2 triple crochet into the same stitch. That next stitch, work 2 triple crochet, and then we're going to chain 2 and work 2 more triple crochet into that same stitch. So here's our first corner, and now we're going to go ahead and make another side. So we're going to do the same pattern of 2 double crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, do 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And so that completes our second side, and now we're going to work another corner. So we're going to work again in the next stitch 2 triple crochet, chain 2, 2 triple crochet. There's our second corner. Now we're going to work a side again. So this is what we do all the way around. So it's 2 double crochet, 2 half double crochet, single crochet, 2 half double crochet, 2 double crochet. And when we have 1 stitch left, we'll work our final corner, and I'll meet you back after that. Finishing up my final corner here, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. So here's our star square. I worked 18 of these total for the whole project, so go ahead and work up some more squares and I'll meet you back for the hood. I used 8 squares for the hood portion. So here I've laid out the 8 squares that I made for the hood portion. I laid them in 2 rows of 4 like this, and this is how we're going to seam them. So I'm going to start by seaming them vertically, and then I'll do the horizontal seam last. So I'm doing like a visible slip stitch on this. So I'm going to start at the bottom corner here, and I'm going to work into this chain that's by that treble crochet that I'm going to be seaming by. I'm coming in from the top and just picking up that loop, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, coming in from the top, and I'm going to pick up just the loop that is closest to the square, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna slip stitch, I'm gonna pull through all 3 of those loops and do a slip stitch to join those together. So I'm gonna work in this type of manner the whole way up the squares. So picking up the loop closest to the square, that's the best way I can explain it, on each side. We want that working yarn to be behind our loops, and we're going to pull through all 3 loops. This is what we're going to do all the way up. So again, pick up that loop that is closest to your square on each square, and then slip stitch it all together. Now the mistake that I made is I tightened these way too much. So I don't recommend really tightening them up very much. Just let it kind of live, and that's going to give you an even better look than what I got. So here's just a close-up of what I was doing. If you want to see it closer, hopefully I'm explaining this okay. And obviously you can join your squares however you please. I just wanted to show you how I did it. So when we get to the top, same thing, just pick up those last loops. I don't work into the second loop of the corner, just the first one, and I hope that makes sense. So to continue, I'm gonna work straight up to the next 2 squares, just working the same way. So I'm working into that second chain of the corner and on both squares, and again work from the top and keep your working yarn behind and slip stitch that together. And yeah, just pick up those loops that are closest to your squares and slip stitch together. That's how I joined this all together. Here's a little bit closer. So yeah, hopefully you get the gist. So now that I finished this vertical seam, I'm just gonna tie that off, and I'm gonna work the other 2 vertical seams for the squares. So I'm just gonna do the same thing for the other 2 rows, and then I'll come back and show you the horizontal seam at this intersection. We're just going to chain over once we reach that, and then continue the exact same way. So I'm back, I've seamed horizontally, and now I'm gonna fold my work in half like this, and I'm gonna work a seam across the top to actually make it into a hood. So we're just gonna seam it the same way, and here it is. This should look something like this. And now we're just going to work a row of single crochet around the border. So I'm just starting in the corner here, and I'm going to attach with a slip stitch into that chain that's closest to where I'm working. Chain up 1 and single crochet into that same chain, and then single crochet into each stitch across, and I'll show you what I do here in a second when I reach the seam. So I'm by the seam now, I'm working into the first chain, and then I'm gonna single crochet 2 together for those chains closest to the seam, and then just keep single crocheting around. And that's it for that. So that's our hood, and now we can start working the scarf portion. I said earlier that I worked 10 squares total for the scarf, so I separated that into 5s. So I seamed 5 of them together like this, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the other 5, and then I'll seam those halves together. So yeah, just in the exact same way that we did the other seams is what I did here. So I just seamed them horizontally, and here's my 2 panels. Now I'm going to turn them in on each other like this. This is so they mirror each other when, you know, they're around your neck. So I turn them like this and seamed them there. And so there is our scarf portion. So now we're ready to attach our hood. So we're gonna find the middle of our scarf, and we're gonna seam our hood to these middle 4 squares. See, we have 4 squares on our hood, 4 squares here. We're gonna seam it to the middle 4, same exact way. But for this, I attached for both chains of the corner. So I did start with, you know, I didn't leave out a chain on this one. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, don't overthink it. These little details aren't overly important. I just wanted to share what I did. So yeah, just seaming this out the exact same way. And when we reach the seam, so I'm just working, I basically just skip over it. So yeah, I just work up to the seam and then skip over it and continue seaming the same way. So that's what I did when I reached the seam. Okay, so we're back with the seamed hood and scarf, and we're almost done. I'm just gonna do a row around the scarf portion of the hooded scarf just to tie it all together. So I'm gonna start in this corner by the hood and where the scarf and hood meet, and I'm gonna single crochet all the way around that. So here I am attaching my yarn in that corner, chain up 1, and I'm just single crocheting all the way around. I'll show you what I do when I reach the seams and the corners. So at the seam, I'm single crocheting, and I just skipped over it for this one. So I just single crocheted straight over it and just continued on. Then when I reached the corner, I did 2 single crochet, chain 2 single crochet, all in the corner. So here's our corner, and then I just continued single crocheting around all the way until I reached the other side, where I just slip stitched to some pink there, tied off, weaved in my ends. That's it. That is the hood. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you like it if you decide to make it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.